Hey there, Mission Control. Today I'm going to be troubleshooting some of the automation units that I have in this building. And before I jump into that, I kind of want to go back. If you're brand new to the channel, you may not know why we're trying to deal with all this automation. You might think it's a little too complicated and maybe unnecessary. You could do a lot of this stuff by hand. So I wanted to go over that real fast. Our goal is to take this HAB 1 design. It took 5 years of research, 1 year of design, and we're on our 3rd year of building and troubleshooting. And we want to figure out how everything works together and then make it a lot smaller and a lot easier to use so that a normal family of 4 that works 2 jobs, kids going to school, they could actually grow their own food and produce some of their own energy locally. In order to do that, we have to automate a lot of things in here because a normal family of 4 doesn't want to live on a homestead. They don't want to be married to the system. They want to go out, have a nice dinner, take their kids to school, take their kids to football practice, to dance, go watch a movie, have a date night, whatever. The last thing they want to do is be stuck at their house, checking on their food, cleaning the fish tanks, making sure the water's not running when it shouldn't be running so you don't flood the whole thing. A whole slew of things that just they're not going to deal with. They're going to be like, you know what, that's too hard, I'm not going to do it. But I believe, Mrs. Martian and I believe that it's really important that we start getting it where normal everyday people can grow their food again. Now, way back when, this used to be very normal, but in today's world, we've kind of consolidated all of our farming into large super farms, and I think that's really quite a big mistake. Not to mention, we're going to need a lot more food for everybody as we continue to multiply on this planet. So, enter automation. And while these things are a challenge right now for us to deal with, they're hugely important that we get it figured out. So we use automation to control lights, to control fans, to control valves, to take temperature readings, to figure out what the temperature is in here, what the humidity is in here. And eventually all these things are going to be used to help us really dial in and control and optimize everything. In this case, I made a software update yesterday to the automation, and something went wrong. So I'm going to plug into the hyperdrive here, and we're going to see. There we go, plug that in. Got the laptop here and plug that guy in, and we're going to see what's going on. Okay, so let's, oh boy, you guys don't get to see my password. Okay, so let's log on and see what's going on here. So I use Eclipse, which is an integrated development environment to actually do all my programming and run troubleshooting with. So right now I'm connecting into the device you just saw me connect to, and I'm trying to see what's going on. Is everything set up correctly? 3. Okay, it appears to be running right, but for some reason the sensors aren't going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload its brain here. If only I could do that to myself. Alright. I'm not going to put that one on it. Aha. And I'm plugged in the wrong one. Hey, it would be helpful if I plug it in the right one. Okay. So all that blabbing about automation, and I plugged into the wrong one. This is the one I'm having a problem with. This is a sensor suite that I created last year with custom circuit board in it. So it's my stuff in it, with an Arduino controller. Let's pull it out here. Try not to zap myself. There we go. Oh, it looks like the board was separated there. Maybe that was the problem. So we have a Arduino with a custom circuit board all attached to my custom cables and wires. So let's, there we go, disconnect that. Disconnect that one. And this one, I still need to get a wire. In fact, did I bring one out? Nope. And run it out so I can program them outside of the box. That's one of the mistakes I made, is all of these should have access so that you don't have to take them apart like this. This one was made last year. You can tell the new one where I just plugged in. Really easy, but let's get back to the computer and see what the hyperdrive is saying. Okay, so now let's redo that. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. We want to reconnect here. Lane 3. So then let's connect to the server. It says it looks like it's running all right. That's just weird. For some reason, it's not dropping any sensor data up there. Let's connect this way. See what's shaking. Sensor data, edit, location equals lane 3 environmental, and go. Well, appears to be running correct now. Weird. I think we got ghost in the machine. I got PAR, I got air temperature, humidity, grow bed temperature, fish tank temperature. Everything appears to be working. It's still trying to dissolve oxygen though, that's not right. Let's just reload the code anyway, just to make sure something doesn't feel right. Alright, so now I'm reloading the code onto the unit. Now some of these are wireless units. Well, actually all the Wemos are wireless, meaning I should be able to do this programming over the air, or OTA for short. I did something wrong in the code and it's not working quite correct, so I do need to plug into everything. I also need to figure out how to get it where I could read serial data over Ethernet. So if anybody knows how to do that, like I'd like to have all my, some of you are going to totally space out on me right now, all my serial prints actually print to Ethernet so I could just plug into the system and see everything going live. But I'm not sure how to do that. Oh, there we go, it's reloaded. Okay, it appears to be working correctly. Yeah. Alright, so let's go check what it dumped onto the server. Alright, that's 43. Grow bed, fish tank, humidity, air, PAR. Check, check, and check. Although I don't think the PAR reading is coming out quite correct there. It seems awfully low. Troubleshooting continues. Alright, so here I am at lane 2, and we have a slightly different challenge on this lane. I think this sensor is actually bad. I did some troubleshooting yesterday where I took this sensor off, I brought the lane 3 sensor over, plugged it in, and this started reading correctly. And then this guy just isn't working. So these are DHT sensors, and they're very inexpensive. They're supposed to work very well, and they were working really, really well for quite some time. They can work between 0 and 100% humidity and negative 40 to 80 Celsius. But for some reason, it just doesn't want to work all that correctly. So I'm going to take this one out. I think maybe dust might be a problem. So we're going to check that first, and if not, I have a new one and we're going to wire it in. And this one I was able to confirm. This is a one-wire temperature-only probe. It's supposed to be able to handle complete submersion forever. And that's really totally not true. It can handle complete submersion for about 2 years, and then they poop out on you. So this one we're also going to cut open, and we're going to drop a new one in its place. So we'll see. This one I troubleshot, and as soon as it gets wet, it stops working. So we're going to put a new one in and go from there. So this repair is going to be pretty straightforward. I need to keep the wires all together so I can see which color goes where. Let's see here. Cut that back there. That one there. There we go. And deep inside of this. Oops. Well, that's not good. Oh, I just lost it all. So one of the things as I built these cables, I realized fairly decent mistake I made was not putting connectors in so you can deal with stuff like this when they break and you need to replace them. So when I redo this stuff, because I am eventually going to redo it all for HAB 2, these are key things that I need to consider. You know, there's the you spend a lot of time trying to make sure everything works, and sometimes you forget that not only does it need to work, but you need to be able to maintain it, and that things go bad, and when things go bad, you need to be able to fix it. So thinking through all this stuff through prototyping, like what we're doing here, I think is hugely important. Now, luckily, I replaced one of these yesterday, so I have my little color codes right here, which is good because I can't apparently get them out of this one. I also have all this stuff written down in my logbook up at the house. I didn't bring it out with me. Today I'm going to be using heat shrink and waterproof butt connectors here. And we're going to put those in. Oops, forgot my tool. Okay, here we go. Try it again. This one in. There we go. Boy, these ratcheting crimpers, oh, where have you been all my life? They are awesome. I love them. A subscriber told me about them. I think they're just really amazing now. I don't want to ever go back to the previous wire crimpers. A subscriber also told me about these waterproof heat shrinking glue infused connectors. So I'm going to be giving them a try here for my my setup for making these cables a little more robust for the waterproofness. Okay, red goes to white blue. Alright, and then goes where next? Blue goes to yellow. That means orange goes to black. Go. Blue goes to yellow. Blue goes to yellow. Check. Oh my goodness. I just put the same one back on. Oh, so stupid. That's the junk one. Those are junk. Let's try this again. Okay, there we go. Now, plug that. So these have glue inside of them. So as you heat shrink it, the glue melts and then compresses against the wire with the heat shrink, creating a nice sealed connection. Ingenious. I also realized that I got these, this is 24 AWG, and these connectors go down to 22. So I got the other ones on their way that are the right size, but this particular connection doesn't actually go in the water, and I can see the glue coming up through it already, so it is making a nice connection inside of there. Yeah, really nice. So thank you, subscriber. There we go. We'll call that good enough. Okay, put this back in my float. Whoa, get my float. There's the float. Woo, that's hot. That's the hot seat right there. Okay. Trash. Alright, so let's send you back down. There we go. Back in there. And then we'll plug you fish tank temperature. and plug you back in. We'll see what happens now. All right, so that sensor is fixed. Now let's move on to the DHT sensor here. We'll do the same thing with it. Go get a different tool. Oop. Never leave home without it. Okay. It's like that game of Operation. It's one thing I'm learning all about how to make cables. I've decided I don't like cables at all, really. But they are necessary until we figure out how to go completely wireless, which probably won't happen in my lifetime. Let's see here. Okay. Need to keep my color code here. Oh, these ones are all just, yep, same to same. Okay, that's junk. Don't want it. We do want to keep this cable though. We need to strip it back some more. You can see the early cables I made versus the newer ones. This is a telephone wire that I use. I've upgraded everything since to Ethernet cable. More signals in it. Cheaper to buy connectors for. I originally started off with the telephone stuff, like I said, and I found it really difficult to find connectors at an affordable price, which is weird. You'd think they'd be abundantly available, but they weren't. Which is weird. So while I'm doing this, I think one of the cool things about this facility that I'm really starting to appreciate is the fact that it is pouring, the weather outside, I should say, this is a better way to say it. The weather outside has minimal impact. It has some impact, but minimally, on what we can do inside. So why do I say that? Is because for the last few days, it has been pouring rain outside. I mean, really, just cats and dogs, you know. I don't even know where that saying came from. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, it's been raining a lot. And because of that rain, if you're a normal farmer, outside farmer, you can't plant anything. And if you did plant stuff right before where we're at, you'd be having a hard time because all your seed would probably be molding right now. You'd lose it all because it is so wet, just really, really wet outside. So this facility allows us to control the environment, at least some, to where we can actually grow all year round. And that, I think, given the way our world is going crazy, upside down, backwards, inside out, I think it's important that we have this capability, because it seems like it's only going to get worse to me. Oh yeah, and if you're on Mars, you'd have to have it. Okay, let's go heat shrink these bad boys. And when I first made these, I was getting all fancy with heat shrink and all that, you know, trying to make it look like really professional cables. And lately, I've pretty much given up on that for these prototype ones, because I find myself taking them apart, troubleshooting with them, and the heat shrink's just really been in the way. But I really like these heat shrinking connectors that are waterproof, just especially in here where it's humid. You know, having that little protection in there, the glue, I think is going to be a really big deal. It's going to be a help a lot. Oh, that looks great. Go. That. Put back in. Okay. Okay, if that was a problem, it should be fixed. Well, I don't want to take the box apart quite yet to plug into the hyperdrive, Star Wars reference. So I have about 2 more minutes and then it will take its next reading. Well, the bad news is it looks like that sensor wasn't the problem. So now I've plugged into the hyperdrive and I'm going to see what it says. I'm going to hit the reset button. Cute little reset here. Okay, the one wire sensor is working. That's the first one I replaced. Failed to read from DHT though. That one is still bad. Alright, so this is actually good. So there's a wiring problem. So there's the one that's going. Let's take that. Well, how about the fact that it's disconnected there? Probably be a good indicator of problem. So I took these up to the house a few days ago and checked them, and I actually had to redo a few of the connectors, but this one apparently got by me. So we'll take it up to the house and we're going to have to redo the JST connector. You can see through wear and tear they have come off there. They came off really easily, so I'll go redo those real fast and we'll get this one done. That was pretty fast. Ran up to the house, put in the new connector, or the new, what the heck are they called, the pins. Okay, there we go. Plug that back in. We actually have a bad connection starting to happen right there as well. All right, let's go see if that did the job. All right, we're back up and running. That was it. Well, I had checked that originally. I guess when I put it back in there, I must have bent the other one off. So they've been kind of hanging there as I've troubleshot them over the last few months, just kind of leaving them hanging, and I think the wind and just the vibration, the movement has taken those solid wires and made it where they're so fragile like that and jumped off. But good news is, it looks like we got it up and running. So I'm going to disconnect, I'm going to reseal it up, and then we'll check it to make sure that after I put it all back together, it's still working. So we'll disconnect. And we got to feed that up in there. Oh, nope, just lost that one that was all sensitive like that. I thought I'd lose it and I did. Arg. Okay, there we go. Put that back up in there. Alright, so I just got it all put back together and I'm going to check the server and see how we look. Okay, we're reading PAR, humidity, air temperature, fish tank temperature, grow bed temperature of 185 Fahrenheit. I'm guessing that's probably wrong, but that's the first time it read that. Oh my goodness. There's always something. Why did it read 185? That's totally not right. Alright, well, got everything working, but not working right. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. I got to give it quite a few more minutes to wait to see what the next reading is. That might turn out to be totally okay, and maybe it's just because I was messing with all those wires that it read wrong, but we'll figure it out. So, thanks for following along. A little bit of troubleshooting. This is what I've been kind of up to for the last few weeks. It's just tracking down all these little bugs. Lots of lessons learned in building my first automation unit. So many lessons learned. Choosing the connectors, choosing the type of wire, the back shells. I don't have any back shells. I should. The size of the wire, common connectors versus non-common connectors. Just a whole bunch of lessons. The space that you have in there, how you want to lay everything out. I can't wait until I get to fully custom circuit boards where I get away from the the mess that you saw in there and have everything purpose built. It's going to be so much better. For HAB 2, that's what the game plan is. So thanks for following along. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Don't forget you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Patreon. In the meantime, this is The Real Martian, out.